This is a user review of my workswell Chinese carbon mountain bike frame, which I've owned now for 1 year. I've driven 2,000 miles, approximately 3,200 kilometers with it. I ordered this mountain bike frame on eBay. It was shipped and delivered in total, I think, 4 weeks' time. You have to take into account that you have to pay additional taxes and duties when you take delivery of it. It was well packed. It's arrived undamaged, and there were some additional parts included in the package. I also ordered this seat post, also from carbon, with a diameter of about 27 millimeters. There were 2 sets of hangers, derailleur hangers, included in the frame, either a through axle or a quick release. I installed the quick release because it fitted my bike. This is during the build. I already installed the seat post and the saddle and the steering and the fork. Here I've included the crank. I waited until the last moment with installing the cables for the shifter and for the rear brake. If I would do it again, I would do it immediately, because once the fork is installed, you have limited access in the head tube section. The build was, other than that, fairly uncomplicated, and it could be done in about 1 evening. I ordered a stem with quite a long 100 millimeter length. That is to improve the reach of the frame. I ordered a medium size frame, 18.5 inch. My height is 1 meter 85 centimeters. It's on the small side, but otherwise the frame would be quite large. It would be a 20-inch frame. But I sort of solved this by using this longer stem. This is the finished build in this current form. I later installed a more lighter wheel set and lighter disc brakes and other lighter components. In its final form, including pedals, it weighs about 10.1 kilograms. And since it was built, I've driven, as already mentioned, about 2,000 miles with it. Most of it is done in the Netherlands. These are single track trails, which are quite flowy. The bike is very suited for that. As you can see, the surface is quite smooth. A bike which changes course easily, which accelerates easily, is an advantage in these conditions. And I've mainly used it as a track as a tool to improve my times using Strava, a time attack tool, I could say. So it's been ridden quite hard for the past year. Normally my times are within the top 10% of times, and these trails are being used a lot. So sometimes there are 20,000 unique riders listed for these segments, but very often I'm in the top 5% and occasionally even in the top 1% or even better than that. This bike has not been spared in its short lifespan so far. It is proven to be very agile. You can change course very easily. I think it has to do with the steep steering angle. The steering angle is much steeper than you see nowadays. Nowadays you see steering angles of even 66 degrees, 65 degrees. This bike has a steering angle of, I think it was 72 degrees, so it's very steep, which makes changing direction more easy. Also, the wheelbase is quite narrow, quite short, which probably also adds to this nimbleness. Due to the light weight of the frame, climbing is very easy. We don't have very long climbs or long descents, but well, that there you definitely experience this weight benefit when you're climbing. And based upon the geometry, you would expect the bike to be not so well when you're going downhill, but my top times on Strava are on downhill sections. So it keeps up remarkably well during downhill sections. So how does this frame keep up? Well, it did excellent. There were no cracks or other problems with the frame. The only minor problem I had was that the small bolts for the derailleur hanger, um, they were not pre-treated with Loctite when the frame was shipped. And I noticed this when I'd lost two bolts and the derailleur hanger came loose, which left me stranded alongside the trail. So at home, once I replaced the bolts, I used Loctite, and ever since it has not been a problem. Um, the seat tube, also, there are no problems with the seat tube, no cracks, no tears, nothing special. My weight is about 72 kilograms. If this frame would cope well with a rider with a weight of, let's say, 100 or 120 kilograms, I cannot say for certain. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below.